Hey y'all, it's Leah. Welcome back to my series on tabs, dangles, edges, and flips, oh my, where we're making a companion to the ideas book. And this one is just focusing on things that go on the sides of the page or the tops of the page. And maybe we'll even throw some things on the bottom. Okay. So for today's video, we are going to be working with flowers. So I have quite a few different flowers, especially from when I was like scrapbooking. I have all these like little mulberry flowers and things, and I'm always looking for ways to incorporate them into my journals because I need to get rid of them. Just have, always trying to make my stash dwindle down. But even if you don't have these flowers, you could use anything that you find. I know Dollar Tree has quite a few of different flowers, like with little stick-on backs. You can use die cuts. If you have die cuts of flowers, those would work really well. So I've showed you some like this, so you could, without doing the whole with the buttons and stuff, you could just use the flowers for kind of the same things that we're going to do today. So the first one, we are going to use 3 of these little mulberry flowers. And I realized that this part, the top part of my book, is getting quite bulky. Not quite. It's a little bit bulky, but I think by the time I get to the end, if I'm only doing things at the top, it's going to get very bulky. And so I want to do some things from the bottom, which is something that I do in my journals anyway. I don't always decorate just the tops of things. And I got this from when I was doing cards. Oftentimes I would do like 3 enamel dots at the bottom because I'm addicted to enamel dots. But I would do that, towards the bottom of a card, and it just kind of set it off. So I like to do them in different spots. So I'm using kind of that same idea, but with flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the bottom of my page, and I do want these to hang over a little bit. The cool thing with mulberry flowers is because it is mulberry paper, it does work really well just with regular, like art glitter glue, PVA glue, Elmer's glue, whatever you're using. Okay, so you can definitely do that. And then I'm going to space them. I want to space them out just a little bit so they're not, I want you to still be able to tell they're flowers and not just kind of a blob of stuff. And then add another one. And so these do have a hole in them because you can use them with brads. So you definitely could put a brad in there, and then you would need to use something heavier to glue it. Like I would use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, which is what I prefer, and glue that down, just making sure that the legs of your brad are on this side and not poking out the back. So brads are an option. If you have enamel dots, that is an option. But just one quick, easy thing, if you don't have any of those, is just to take a black pen and just color in that center. And that way it just looks like it's finished. You could even do, I know some flowers, you have like the little dots, so you could definitely do that and just make a bunch of little dots all in the center. But then it makes it look like you have something in that space, kind of filling up that space. So that's one option, is to do your 3 on the edge. The next option is to do the corners. Okay. And so these flowers, these have the little balls on them. They came like that. And sometimes those are hard to put in our journals because they do bulk things up a little bit. And so this is a good idea to use them in this application because they are kind of going just on the edge of your pages, which tends to be a space that's not very bulky. Usually a lot of our bulk is going to be kind of in the middle of the page, or usually towards the bottom, because that's where our tags go and our pockets and all of those things. So we don't usually have things in those corners, so you can add a little bulk to those spaces. So I'm just doing one in each corner. Okay. And just realizing that, yes, when you put this, if this is going on a shelf standing up, it may get, you know, kind of bunched up a little bit, but that's going to be okay because our journals are going to be lived in, and that's all right. Okay. So the next one we are going to do is also going to be, it's going to be on a corner. And this one I have a leaf as well. So I'm going to add both of those to the page. Actually, we'll add a little bit more glue, make sure that gets all nice and pushed in on that part. And then this one I'm going to I want a lot of it to hang off the side and the top, because then it does give some interest there. So I did really just the, it's kind of in quadrants. I tried to kind of put it so it's just that bottom, that lower left quadrant that's on the page. And we'll kind of turn that leaf a little bit. There we go. And so when we flip it, we're going to see that, and that's okay. And then I have these dots that I had gotten, and I don't know if you can see, but they have some texture to them, and they're raised a little bit. So you can kind of see the depth of that. And so again, that's something that would be hard to add on my page without adding a ton of bulk, but in the corner, it's not going to make much of a difference on there. And so that just makes a real pretty little flower center, especially because it's got kind of those little dots, like it reminds me of a sunflower, although I've never seen a sunflower in those colors. Okay. And then the last one we are going to do is, again, with a bigger flower, but I'm going to put it at the top of the page right there. Get a bit of glue on there and go. So it's kind of halfway through. And often I like to layer my flowers. That's where these little bitty ones come in handy. So I can just add some glue there, and it makes a cute little center for our flower. Okay, and I just, you know, hopefully you know, and I didn't really talk about that, but I did try to play off the colors that are in the pages like you would normally do when you're doing any kind of journaling. So even this one has a lot of the same colors on there. White makes a great background. This has some it's kind of a white on white, so there is a pattern on there. It's just difficult to see. So those are our flower ideas. I hope you enjoyed those. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you are thinking of our edge book, our borders, tabs, dangles, edges, and flips. Oh my. Hope you're having fun with it, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.